Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Main Street Fire Rescue. It's Matt and I'm back here at the one, the only EPCOT Center. What are we doing today? Well, kind of a two-part vlog today. It's going to be split up. Part one is going to be here at EPCOT. There's some big news that hit. Test track is closing for what they think to be about a year. It's going to start on June 17th, so the absolute last day to get a ride in on test track is going to be June 16th. I think it's a Sunday. I already put it in the calendar, but before all the hysteria and the mayhem picks up, where everybody's going to start piling into test track, you know, similar to Splash Mountain, you know, it's going to get rethemed. This time I think it's a good retheme. This isn't Tiana's Rainforest Cafe retheming. Again, I say that lightly because I haven't experienced the new Splash Mountain attraction. I'm going to reserve everything till I ride it. Just leave it at that. But test track is closing, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good upgrade from what we're seeing. We're going to talk about the updates, what's going to be replaced or what's estimated to be replaced, show you some of the concept art, and then from here, once I'm done here, I'm going to end the vlog and we'll start another one. We're going to go to Animal Kingdom, and we're going to go we're going to do Everest just because. And then we're going to do some of the shows I've never seen before. One being Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond. I wanted to try it the other day, but it was so... Anybody who remembers Thursday of last week, Assholes to Elbows doesn't even begin to describe what this whole place was like. I've never seen it. Not even on New Year's Eve was it like it was last Thursday. It was an experience. So I didn't get to do much of anything other than walk around and film crowds. But then the vlog, it just didn't turn out good, so I didn't even bother to upload it, because it's like, I mean, who hasn't seen large crowds before? So not much exciting with that. We're gonna have a good time today. But before we get started here at EPCOT, I want to say congratulations to the Purdue Boilermakers, who have now made it to the National Championship game in a match of the Titans. Purdue versus UConn. Oh my gosh. I watched the game yesterday. I tell you, NC State put up a fight for a while. I was very nervous. In fact, the second half, I was trying to watch the game and I was literally shaking because, as I said last week on Easter Sunday, similar to when the Cubs went to the World Series, I've never seen this before. You know, I've never seen Purdue go to the Final Four. You know, again, when they did, I was only 3 years old, so I wasn't old enough to understand anything at that point. And so, and to go beyond that, the last time they made it to the championship game was 1969. I wasn't even here yet. I wouldn't even thought about it at that point yet. My mom was at Purdue. She was, I believe, junior, senior that year, I think it was. And because that was right around Purdue's Rose Bowl year when they went to the Rose Bowl and beat USC. So that was some good times for Purdue sports. Just like I feel like it's coming back now. You know, Purdue basketball has been good for a while, but they've never been able to get over that hump. It's always been, you know, like, well, we all know what happened last year, but, you know, eliminations in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. Never, you know, always knowing they had the potential, but never getting to this point. So, needless to say, Boilermaker fans around the world are very excited. You know, tomorrow night is going to be special. Obviously, I want them to win, but this is one of those where no matter what happens, it's been a fantastic season, and we're going to talk about this probably on Tuesday at some point and just wrap up the season, because this has been very special. It really has. Anybody that's a sports fan that has a favorite team, college, pro, whatever your team is, and if your team makes it all the way, you know how special that is. You know, and anybody that's not a sports fan doesn't understand it, but those that are, you all get it, right? You get it. It gives you it's that euphoric, happy feeling that's very hard to describe to people that don't follow sports. And plus, since I've been invested in Purdue since I was pretty much born. You know, when I was old enough to walk and talk, my family had me, you know, learning Hail Purdue, and you know, Boiler Up came when I went to school there, when Joe Tiller was our head football coach when he took over in '97. That's kind of where Boiler Up came from. And then it's just been, you know, it's been Purdue sports my whole life. And so I'm really excited for this. When I was a sophomore at Purdue in 1998, the Purdue women's basketball team won the national championship. That was a cool experience. It really was. But this time, the men's team going all the way. One more game. One more game. You know, it's always crazy when you think about the NCAA March Madness tournament. When you break it down, all you gotta do is win 6 in a row. That's all you gotta do. You know, it seems when you put it up against the regular season where you play what, 28, 30 games, all you gotta do is win 6 in a row. You know, but it is a truly amazing accomplishment. And UConn, I watched that UConn-Bama game. That score did not reflect how that game ended, or what that game was like. Alabama had them on the ropes many times. They just wore Alabama out at the very end. So that's where I'm just hoping that Purdue, you know, and UConn can keep up with each other. You know, Purdue can keep up with UConn because they got that gigantic, similar to Zach Edey, that guy in the middle. You know, he's humongous. So it should be interesting to watch. We're going to enjoy today. Again, we'll talk about the all of March Madness. We'll wrap up March Madness in the coming days. So for this entrance too, I wanted to come back to where I was on Easter Sunday, right over here. That's where I was sitting when I was listening to the end of the game when Purdue made it to the Final Four. I'll never forget that spot. May have to put something there. So regardless of what happens, congratulations Boilermakers. It's been a fantastic, very special season. Let's get one tomorrow night, man. One more. So with that, we're gonna get this vlog and our asses in service. Welcome to Main Street Fire Rescue. Main Street Fire Rescue is now in service. Oh, and I just have a quick question as we're walking over to Test Track. To all our friends from the UK and England and all overseas, do you all ever work or have school? Because I swear, it's like 5, 6, 7 times a year. You all are just here in droves. Like checking in today, I bet I was the only one that didn't have a British accent in the entire line. And hey, it's great. Thank you for stimulating our local economy, but do y'all get a shitload of time off or something? And a shit ton of school time off? I'm curious. Let me know. All right, I just want to say to my mom who's pointed this out, she says people at Disney will line up for everything if they see a crowd. Perfect example, look at this. Look at this line right here. There's a line here. Okay, look. Look at this line. There's nobody here but a guy sitting on a bench. That's it. There's nothing there. There's nobody there. It's just 2 dudes sitting on a bench. And people taking photos. There's literally a line to nowhere. So, yes, Mom, you are very correct on that. Anybody could line up, put a few people in line, and the whole rest of the park will line up for nothing. Very hilarious. You know, we often talked about that theory, because when Mom comes to visit, we'll walk the park, and we've talked about that. Like, wonder if that would really work. Well, there you go. It does work. Put 3 or 4 people in a line and act like you're waiting on something. Next thing you know, you'll have 70 people behind you. For no reason. The queue to nowhere. Gotta toast the Boilermakers' victory last night against NC State. One more win, fellas. One more win. So this is it. This is Test Track. This has been the current offering for quite a while. I think this version opened up in 2012. So it's been operating a little over the 20, or a little more than 10 years in this form. Before this, it operated as a true test track, like with crash test dummies. It was that version looked pretty cool. I never did get to see that. When they closed Test Track over 10 years ago to remodel it. This is the version that it became. So they made it more futuristic. And like I said, this is the only version I've ever known. I've seen the other ones on YouTube, but this is the current test track. A lot of people call this the test track Tron, or Tron test track, because it does kind of look like Tron. You go through the Tron forest in there. It's very futuristic. But some of the changes coming up, I'll show you afterwards, but basically this whole canopy is coming down. This thing is gonna be removed, and they're going to put a more futuristic look to it. From what we can tell, the track is gonna stay the same way as it is now. There doesn't look to be any modifications, but we shall see. But this, it looks like what's going to happen is, since this canopy is going to come down, it's going to open this whole front of test track up, and then they're going to put, if you can see where the gray pattern is on the wall, there's going to be like a smooth curved arc canopy, very sleek looking, that's going to be added. Also, they're going to take out a lot of the scenes. They're going to remove, it looks like, the futuristic test track scenes, and they're going to make it more of the concept art. Makes it look like they're driving through a wooded and like the woods. So it looks like it's going to go to more of a like electric style cars, and more conscious about the environment. I say nothing's more environmentally friendly than a V10 engine. I mean, let's be real. You can't beat a V10. It's very fuel efficient. So also the front appears to stay the same. Up there where those windows are, you can't really see this, and most people don't even know half of this stuff exists because they're just going to the lines. But that, back in the day, was the GM lounge. I think it's still the GM lounge. I'm not sure what those windows are below it, but if you look way back, this was during the early days of EPCOT. This was known as World of Motion. And it was a slow moving, like almost like an Omnimover ride. And it looked pretty cool, actually. But when they closed it down, I think it was around the late 90s. Or I'll get you a timeline. Let's do that. Instead of me guessing, I'm going to ride this and we'll get you a timeline on all this. But basically, when World of Motion closed, then it became Test Track version 1. And then later on, it became Test Track 2.0, and now it looks like we're going to have Test Track 3.0. But what I like about this, hey, I'll tell, as I said in my other vlog, there are things that I will say Disney does right, and I will admit that. I don't always bitch about everything. The only reason I bitch sometimes is because I know what they're capable of, and they're not utilizing their full potential. But this new version looks really, really, really cool. Like, it looks like they're bringing, you know, it's kind of merging the old with the new. And it looks to be fantastic. So let's take a ride on this. We're going to do a full ride through. I'm going to utilize single rider. And then after we're done, I'll find a place and we'll pull up some of the... Hello. We'll pull up some of the screenshots and we'll show you what's coming. But yes, make sure you ride this thing. Make sure you get your test track rides in, because this thing closes, and before you know it, June 17th will be here. So actually the last day to ride this is June 16th, and then it'll be at least a year is what they're thinking. The other big question is, are they going to keep these? Because these are also this is part of your, when you do the main ride, that's lightning lane, and then the other side is standby. You go into a room and you actually design your car. Here, in the, when you do the single rider, if you scan this, you don't necessarily get to design your car, but it gives you one. So you pick, like, I love power. Let's do power. And then we'll do, yeah. Let's do fire engine red. So that's my car. You don't really get to design it, you just pick one. So when we go into the testing area and you scan your Magic Band, that car will show up. But when you go to these down here, you actually build the entire car. So the question is this queue gonna change? My guess is yes, because when you look at the concept art, it looks like they're giving it a, like I said, they're merging kind of what used to be in here in the world of motion with modern design. And I think they're gonna eliminate the sim track too. What's really crazy is by the time I got in the single rider line, I actually beat the group of people that are in one of those Disney private tours. Yeah, let that sink in. So I'll show you how this works. So the car that I picked out, there it is. Let's see how it does.
Hello, proceed to seatbelt checks. For your safety, lead seat is your seatbelt fastened.
Even if my ears fly out past
We'll begin with the capability test to see how your vehicle designs perform under challenging weather and service conditions.
Monitoring road surface. On bar. SimCar performance data acquired.
Let's see how your designs hold up now.
Commencing SimCar off-road and extreme weather sequence. Capability test results displayed and verified.
Now let's see how your vehicles compare when it comes to their efficiency.
Not so good. Last place. Damn, I want a refund. Oh, it's the Tron Forest.
Commencing responsiveness test.
Here we go.
Okay, the responsiveness data is now being synchronized.
Automated driving technology verified and active.
Oh God.
Son of a bitch.
Automated crash avoidance technology disengaged. Brain responsiveness to
Here comes the final test.
energizing full power test. complete.
This concludes your performance detail. You'll be able to see how your Chevrolet custom concept vehicle designs compare to a sim car after you disembark.
I'll wait for you.
Please watch your step as you exit. Remember to take all your personal belongings with you. Be sure to check your final performance numbers to make sure.
Let's see if my picture turned out. I had to do my trademark. Taking a nap. Let's see how the car did. 205. Yeah. Let's see what today's top design is so far. 230. Wow. That's pretty good. All right, so after you leave the ride and check in your score, this is Design in Motion. You get your picture taken if you want over with the new Corvette. And then you can do a design like a postcard and send that. These are kind of neat here. So what you can do is go up to these wheels. You can scan your Magic Band right here on the readers here like this. And see, there your car appears. And then you can actually drive it around the track, kind of like a slot car track almost. Or maybe remember the radio controlled boats that they used to have at a lot of the theme parks. You put a quarter in and drive the boat around. So after you get done with that, then you can do another design studio. There's another track you can drive your car, and then you have the Chevrolet showroom here, which is all the new models on display. And for the low payment of $1,200 a month for 108 months, you can own this too. How'd you get the payment so low? Well, we can go out to 200 months if you need to break it down a little further. So I'm hoping in the coming weeks to months. Oh, one more thing, you can do the stat station where you can, the car you designed, now you can turn it into a postcard and send it home through email, which is kind of cool. You can remember your design. But what I'm wondering is, since this is going to close down in the coming months, if they'll have test track, like how they do when rides close down, they'll have something to commemorate it. I'm curious. I have to keep coming through here to see. So this is near the exit gift shop here, and then we're gonna stop right here for a minute. So these are some of the new reimagined concept art pictures of the new test track. Like I said, they're guesstimating this will be down for about a year. My guess is that Disney will want this up and operating as soon as possible, because it's a gigantic attraction, moves a lot of people, and with this being down for a year, crowds could get pretty rough here. This is a concept of the kind of the interior. You can see where they've gotten rid of all the futuristic theming and look like they went to more of like an electrical style car. But then you can see all of the nature pieces in there, like you're driving through the woods, and then it looks like a sunset in the background or sunrise. But I mean, it looks awesome. And there's a close-up view of the new rethemed entrance. So I love how they get rid of that gigantic canopy and went to more of a sleek style. And then this is kind of the exit where you come out, but you can see the track is still there in the same way that it is right now. It's going to be very interesting. Like I said, it's going to be, those of you planning a trip after June, the middle of June, just know that when you get here, this will not be in operation. And you can already see how many people are in line. The lightning lane's backed up clear down there. That means all these people are going to be filtered throughout the park. That's why I'm saying it's going to be very, very important of Disney to get this thing done. Do it right. Don't rush it. But clearly they're going to want to get this thing back open ASAP. Because realistically, with this being down for a year, there's not too many thrill attractions here at Epcot. This is one of the bigger ones, but you do have Guardians across the way, and then you have for the not faint of heart, Mission Space over there. Then you have Frozen and Ratatouille. That's really about it. And also, I think it needs to be pointed out, Chevrolet and GM have had the sponsorship of this attraction since day one, which I don't know I'm not sure of any other attractions here that have had that. So this is Test Track. We'll be back to ride it a few more times, most definitely. I mean, we got 2 months. Got April to May, May to June, so 2 months left. And we'll get some rides in, but I am very excited to see what this is going to be like when they reopen it. And we'll have to come out here in time, you know, or from time to time to check on the construction updates. Because I have a feeling this is one thing I'm really excited about. I can see them, if they do this right, that's going to be really, really nice. Also, one more thing while I'm here. Keep in mind, for those that are looking to do the Epcot after hours party, once it goes past June, I think there's a couple past the middle of June. I think they go into July or August. But anyway, keep in mind that if you pay for the extra after hours, this will not be operational. This will be out of the equation. So you need to, you know, consider that when it comes to spending the money for that after hours. Now, hopefully, Rock and or Roller Coaster will be back open. Which, if it does, then I'll pay the money to do Hollywood Studios after hour, but not till that opens. Let's get a quick timeline on Test Track too. I said I was going to do that earlier, so I can get you some not important, but correct information on the timeline of World of Motion to Test Track 1.0, Test Track 2.0. Let me do that for you real quick. If you've noticed too, Epcot uses logos for all their attractions. That's a throwback to the early days. This is the original, this is the current Test Track logo, but it's also a throwback to the original World of Motion. I got us a timeline now. World of Motion was an original opening day attraction at Epcot. Opened and started taking guests October 1st, 1982. And that ran as World of Motion until 1990. Let's see. It closed in 1996. So I'm doing a Wikipedia look up here. So basically, the Test Track name replaced World of Motion, and World of Motion closed in 1996. The new Test Track soft opened on December 19th of 1998. So that's a 2-year-long ordeal. But then the attraction didn't officially open until March 17th, 1999. So this was almost a 3-year project. They were saying that it had a huge amount of problems as they were trying to put this whole thing together, because when it was originally World of Motion, this exterior track didn't exist. It was basically an Omnimover style attraction through this building. You can, like I said, find it on YouTube. It's pretty neat looking. A lot of people liked it. So basically it opened on March 17th of 1999. I'm going to get behind the sign. That way I'm not in anybody's pictures. So again, GM has sponsored this since day one. It tops out at 64.9 miles an hour. Reasoning they did that, I asked a cast member, is because at the time when this opened, the speed limit on Interstate 4 was 65 miles an hour. So they didn't want to have a ride where you were riding in a car that broke the speed limit of Interstate 4. And so then the older version, Test Track 1.0, closed down on April 15th, 2012, and then reopened on December 6th of the same year. So what they did was they closed it down, they tore everything out, and they revamped it in the new modern theme. So that was actually a quick refurb from April to December. That's where they added the design studio and digital testing. And then to carry on to current times, September 9th, 2023, Disney announced that Test Track would be receiving a third retheming inspired by the original World of Motion ride. And the test track is slated to close for refurbishment on June 17th, 2024 to make way for the ride's new iteration. Is that right? Iteration? Yeah, new version. So once again, I'm very excited to see what Imagineering is going to come up with, you know, when they redesign this. Just from the concept art, it looks amazing. It really does. And like I said, what gives me hope is, you know, they did this retheme from Test Track 1.0 to 2.0 from March to December. So that leaves me hope that if they really put the screws to it and work their asses off, maybe they can do it in 8-9 months versus a year or more. It just depends on what they're going to do overall. And apparently there's a lot of money that's going to be sunk into this. It's in the I think it's in the hundreds of millions, if I'm reading that correctly. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to bring to us. And personally, I would rather them redo this than the original Spaceship Earth project. I mean, Spaceship Earth definitely needs a little TLC in some areas, but I also like it because other than that, Living with the Land and Figment ride, that's really the only, it's one of the only rides that really hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, it's undergone new narrations in that over the years, but Spaceship Earth is pretty much not changed that much. Also, if you look at old concept art and old plans, that scene at the top of where you come out and you're looking at Spaceship Earth and it says, you know, here we are, or this is our Spaceship Earth, that whole scene was supposed to be way different, apparently. And if you ride it at night and your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, you can see a lot better in the dark. If you ride that ride at night, once you get up into that top portion and you're looking back at the Earth and it says, you know, this is our Spaceship Earth, look off to your, once the car turns around, look straight ahead and look up. It looks like there's like unfinished set pieces up there. It's really interesting. Well, that was fun. Quick little trip to EPCOT test track update. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Again, as we get more and more details, I'll be sure to add that in. And it's interesting watching everybody else give their own takes on it. For the most part, it's been a pretty positive received refurb announcement. It's definitely been better received than the Tiana's Rainforest Cafe Bayou adventure, I'll tell you that. So with that, I'm going to walk out to the parking lot. We'll chat a bit and get ready for part number 2. So let me know, what are your thoughts on the new EPCOT transformation? What do you think? You like it? Not like it? It's all good, man. Whatever your views are. Like I said, this ain't one of those channels where people go around deleting negative comments. Everybody's very much open to express whatever you want. It's freedom of speech. Now, start making threats and dumb shit like that, different outcome for you. But, you know, people, like, I've been reading some of the comments on my other vlogs. By the way, the Norwegian cruise one, gee, Manili, that one's blowing up. It's crazy. It's amazing. The ones that just go crazy and the ones that don't. You know, you spend time just wait, like, oh, this one should do well. Like, it's like 12 views. Loser. And then the ones that you're like, okay, I'm just gonna talk with the camera for 20 minutes and throw it out there. Very little editing. It takes off. It's all kinds of engagements, lots of comments, lots of likes. It's unbelievable. The algorithm is it's a funky thing, man. From EPCOT, Main Street Fire Rescue, out of service. I'll see everybody.